Live in our Lagos studio by iBrand senior analyst and also stockbroker Charles Frakuga, as we do some justice some of his top stories, giving you insights, analysis, and also getting his view as it concerns some of these burning macroeconomic issues. Charles, good morning. Another Monday, bright and early. Good to see you again.
Good morning.
Let's get talking.
It's a pleasure being here.
All right, let's get talking now. The Presidential Committee of the Fiscal Policy, beg pardon, and then tax reform has come up to say that they intend to have a meeting with state governors across the 36 states of the Federation to reach an agreement to ensure that the states suspend what it regards to as low revenue taxes. And this low revenue taxes is also being described as nuisance taxes by the Taiwo Yedele-led committee. First and foremost, I need to ask you this question as I always do. What is your reaction to this one? And secondly, do you think that with these measures being put in place, it's going to erode the what I would tag illegal collection of taxes by local government from sellers of pure water, roadside sellers, and those are all on the street? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I think the fiscal and tax reform committee headed by renowned tax experts, Taiwo Yedele, yes, it shows they are working. They are really doing what it takes to see that that sector is reformed, because tax collection or tax administration is key for any country's economic development in terms of revenue generation. Is very, very key. And it is good that we collect this tax in an efficient and effective manner. Okay. Not to the detriment of the business community. Because what we experienced, and that is what we are saying, in the bid for some of these state government and even local government, in the bid for them to say they want to increase their IGRO, they go all out to collect all forms of taxes and other. I am not opposed to them collecting the new taxes. But for me, the methods of collecting this tax is something that we all have to look into. And that is why the Taiwo-led committee is going to talk to the state government. You can see the name, nuisance taxes. Yeah. You know, and you say nuisance, that is, it is of no value. It is even causing problem to the business community.
But don't you think there's going to be a setback that is going to that will be greeted by these developments coming from the local government and perhaps the state governors? Do you think that they will welcome this with open hands, knowing fully well that the committee was set up by the president to ensure that we have a well-moderated tax system, a well-administrated tax system in the country? Your thoughts on this?
Yes, I agree with you. Tax administration is key, and it's a civic responsibility to pay tax. But in paying that tax, it should not be at the detriment of the workers and even the business people. Because tax is one thing most governments all over the world use to even encourage businesses to come to the country. It will tell you tax holidays, tax credits,
and other tax incentives
to encourage people to come. And fine, let's even look at Lagos State. They will even tell you some of those taxes are illegal. The government is not even aware. So if the government is not aware, then let proper police be put in place so that these people that collect these nuisance taxes don't constitute a big menace to the local business environment. And even though only Lagos, the goods that come from the north to the south, and even the ones that go from the south to the north, people impose fees based on the percentage of the pricing and all that. So Taiwo Yedele and his team are doing a great job going to meet these governors. And of course, we know that today in Nigeria, the local government is not even working very well.
Yeah, because we saw a report where over 50 billion naira in tax in terms of revenue collection from taxes were not accounted for, and they didn't get into government coffers. So it shows that there is no form of transparency even in the system of tax collection in the country. Because when these guys get their money, go to some private pockets, and nothing is being done concerning it.
I agree with you, and that's why we are saying transparency is key in anything. When it comes to revenue, you know, you want to collect this revenue. All over the world, people encourage themselves to pay tax. You see people even going to make their own filing themselves. You know, that is personal income tax. Those who have small businesses, they go and they file their returns as quickly as possible because they are seeing what the government
benefits
is doing with it, those their monies.
Yes.
But in these instances, my own grasp is first of all, it is the method of collection. If you are a foreigner, you are coming with your FBI, and you leave, let's take Lagos for example, another state, and you leave Airport Road, on your getting to a town, a Ocean, something like that, and you see some, how do I describe them now? Young-looking men who are unkept, waging some kind of weapon, hitting transporters, fighting, collecting kind of monies and all that. It gives a wrong signal to any investor, any foreigner coming to the country. You know, so even if those taxes are legitimate to be collected, either by the state government or maybe local government, I don't even want to know, right, the way and method of collection. So again, Lagos State seems to be the center of excellence. We want to see a re-strategization of that collection of those, whether it is tax from transporters or whatever. It should be made more clinical, more neat, and more efficient, so that we behave like civilized persons, not people just running up and down, and in that process causing unnecessary nuisance to the average Lagosian.
Yeah, I still want us to stay on this a little bit. There's so many pointers to look at and then get your view on it. Let's look at it from this perspective now. If we have to take these boys or these guys off the street who are constituting nuisance to the state, if we'll have to take them off the street now, we're looking at a situation whereby we're taking advantage of technology now, using technology, coming up with a mechanism to ensure effective collection of tax revenue, right? So now, if we are going to use that and we are eliminating these guys from the system because, like it or not, they are part of the system.
Yes.
Now, if we're going to take them out of the system, what becomes of them afterwards? Are they not going to continue to become a more dangerous tool to the society? Because one, they are not well equipped, they don't have skills, and there is no way they are going to be gainfully employed into the system that has not been any way be nice to them. How do you react to this?
Okay, this person's claim to be union one way or the other, whether it is road transport workers or road transport employers association and all that. No matter what we say, the way and manner of collection has to be fine-tuned. If it is union, are they collecting on behalf of the state government? Let that be stated clearly, and all these payments should be made at the park. And cash should not be collected. They should have kind of where these drivers or who is involved go and pay and get a receipt or a card, so that you just display it. And we don't want to see those young men outside the park, causing confusion. They can be gainfully employed during their union activities right inside the park. And the few ones that might even come out, let them be well dressed. I mean, just to take a look at it. If you see, as you go today, you see some of these, few of them, they are well dressed, even dressed better than me at the park, and telling the drivers, please don't stop here, move, and all that. Even though they're not even speaking English, but at least communicate with the local language. But they are well dressed, and there are no weapons in their hand, and they are not looking so haggard and all that. Yeah, because the briefing has to come from the union members right from inside the park. The park should be well arranged. All over the world, you have unions all over the world, transport unions, post office workers union, and all that. So Lagos or Nigeria should not be an exception. We must begin to look at decency in terms of, I'm assuring you, by the time we put some level of decency, fine-tuning, you will see that it will be good for everybody. All right. The system will benefit, those workers will benefit, and of course the transporters too, and the government will have more revenue.
I just wish the way you actually stated it, it's just work out that way, because if it eventually does, it shows that Nigeria will definitely lead in to the Nigeria of our dreams, and we're seeing a kind of change coming to the country. All right, let's move forward now to another story. Now, there's this report coming now, still talking about Lagos now, the epic center of the country, and then the most viable state in the country. Rents in Lagos has skyrocketed between the past 5 years in this state, and it's becoming a worrisome thing. Now you want to get an apartment, you're finding it difficult to get an apartment. Just some weeks ago, I was having a conversation with one of my co-tenants, and he told me that the landlord has just increased his mini flat rent from 350 to 400. And then he asked the landlord why. The landlord said because the cost of building materials has increased. And then I asked myself this question: he's not rebuilding that apartment, he's not rebuilding the house per se. So why would he want to increase the rent based on that reason, on that purpose? And then again, why are we having astronomical increment in rental rates in Lagos State?
Wow. Well, let me just first of all say, simple economics, demand and supply.
Okay.
The demand for the supply of houses, demand is higher. And that is why you see that most of these landlords, they will also tell you that, like that case you mentioned now, the increase is telling you rising cost of building material. Okay? That's also fine. He will tell you he also goes to the same markets. Inflation is almost 30%, 28.9 or thereabouts.
Yes, 28.92.
And if he used to go to that same market, what he used to about 100 naira can no longer get it. So, and most of them, that rent is their only source of livelihood. So, they want to ensure that their income also go up meeting inflation. That is a genuine reason for them. Now, there are other reasons they give. Especially the new assets that have been built, they will tell you because of the cutting-edge technology that's being used. If you see modern day houses now, all the suits, a lot of security things and all that, and that also is contributing to the high rentage in Lagos especially. Of course, you have said it here, Lagos is the commercial nerve center of the country, not only even in Africa, West Africa as a whole. And you expect population is also increasing, and the government is not even building more houses. People are also not even building more houses. And of course, the housing supply is still short. In fact, let me just give some statistics. In some years ago, we were told that we have over 17 million housing deficit. That is as far back as 2019. Now, we have seen 5 years now. I'm telling you, that statistic should be doubled by now. Or let's say we're having more than 30 million housing deficits. And some real estate experts have told us that we need to spend almost over $1 trillion to cover that housing deficit. The only way we can solve this problem is a mortgage system.
But we don't have effective mortgage system working in the country. Yes,
but since CBN has licensed some banks to operate as mortgage banks.
But the mortgages themselves, they don't come cheap,
Yes, mortgages do not come cheap. That's the commercial, that is from the private, from the banks, okay? Even from the mortgage banks, the rates, because they are also in business. Cost of fund is there. You're talking of inflation rate, about 28.92%. Okay? So, lending rate, what is the lending rate? LPRO, we're talking of almost 20% now. So, for any financial institution that is lending money, they also look at the cost of that fund before they will lend to you to go and finance your property. But the government has tried. They've said there is something they've done some years back, National Housing Fund. How many persons are benefiting from that or have access to that National Housing Fund? It's a big problem. But there is an act. So it is a law that if you have an organization, you have minimum of 5-7 persons, you are expected to register with that fund. Contribute where about 2.5% of the worker's base salary is deducted on a monthly basis for that fund, so that by the time you are a contributor, you get access to a mortgage banker. Then when you save the mortgage banker, after about 6 months or so, you'll be contributing to the fund. Then you can now access a loan, a facility via the Federal Mortgage Bank.
All right.
Again, all these processes has to be so seamless and transparent from the operators. And a lot of enlightenment campaign awareness has to be done so that the average Nigerian worker, not even worker, even traders should be aware that such a facility is available. Then my advice for employers now would be, there is nothing wrong when you have 5, 7, 10 staff working for you. You just do the normal thing, go and register with the National Housing Fund, and you deduct from the worker's salary, and it is worker's money.
How transparent is that process, Charles? We understand our system. Our system is so perverse to the extent that you don't believe first in the government, and then you don't have hope in the system. So in a system that is so corrupt, leading with corruption, and you're coming up with such an initiative, let me even share personal experience with you.
Yes.
Because when you went that direction, I was contemplating either to share or not. My former place of employment, the initiative was created. So at the end of every month, a certain amount is being deducted. An account was created. But even as I speak to you now, I don't even
remitted to.
That is it. That is what we're talking about here.
Good, and that is where workers are supposed to hold their union executive accountable for this deduction, because the issue is you deduct and you send to National Housing Fund, and those funds are with Federal Mortgage Bank. Okay, so that is where the issue of transparency comes in. Now, it's not the issue of government coming to or politicians coming to steal money. It is now the workers themselves. 2.5% should be deducted every month from the worker's basic salary, and you remit as soon as deducted to Federal Mortgage Bank. And each worker is given a slip, so you know that yes, you are a contributor to that fund. So if you want to finance a property and they tell you it's 15 million, you should have saved your mortgage bank 10-15%, maybe 1.5 million, and you now use that your slip and you apply for the loan through your mortgage bank. So like you said, transparency is key, and of course accountability.
All right, we'll leave it at that. No much time to go through other stories. I'd like to say big thank you to you, Charles Frakulha, for your time with me on the show. And this first half of the conversation, definitely going to have you again for the bigger topic of discuss.
Thank you.